What do you need? I have to get on my job.
I don't want to take it. Hang on, just pause that 1 second.
Well, I
Do you
can
want me
edit.
to start over?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what were you saying about narcissism? Because you were saying that after 5 years of marriage in 2 days, actually, which is, oh, so exciting, that you should know X, Y, and Z by now, but you don't. So why don't you tell me about that?
What I said was, I remember where I started. I'll start where I start now, and we'll go from there. I'm sorry that you should have to wake up to this, that you should feel this way in the morning. After 5 years, coming up in 2 days, I really should have a much better understanding of what it is that you're looking for. I would like to talk about how it is that we can prevent things like that from happening in the future, and I have some thoughts on that.
Well, but that's what it means to be married to a covert narcissist. It is nothing but drama and chaos all the time, because in order for you to know what I want, you would have to think about someone other than yourself. And that's just not in your nature. You had said earlier that
I'm starting to understand this a little bit better. That's a fact. I'm starting to understand this a little bit better. So, yeah, I don't really. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. There's nothing that fucking undoes the fact that my including the fucking goats made you feel that way. I think is a function of everything that has come up over time.
Was it because I was including the goats, or was it because I was speaking and you weren't interested and you were more interested in what the goats were doing? Your narrative that I was upset because the goats were being filmed is patently false.
Well, and your narrative that I didn't care about what it is you were saying is also patently false. I did and do care about what it is you're saying. But we didn't talk about what it is that your vision was for the video or videos.
So my question becomes, why is it so difficult for you to understand? Because I know that, narcissists will do whatever they can to avoid accountability. So when I said was it that you were filming the goats, or was it that you were just patently not listening to what I said? Not even holding the phone towards me because you were not interested in what I had to say. You were more interested in the fact that the goats were walking behind me, and therein lies the issue. And now what you are going to say is that it was because we didn't talk about what needed to be filmed, or you were going to do X, Y, and Z, when really what it is you are showing me, one, you are shirking accountability. You are placing blame, turning it around on me, or just explaining to me that we didn't talk about filming, when really what it is you are incapable of simply filming your wife and listening to hear anything that she has to say. And that is the punchline.
Okay. All right.
No. That's it. Period.
No.
Okay. All right. Period.
Well,
and so if you are going to be...
I'm sorry, 1 second. I'm sorry. Because you're making an assumption about what it is that I was going to say next. Okay. All right.
No, I am not making an assumption about what you were going to say next. What I was doing was prompting you to say, okay, all right, so that, period, you take a minute, you take a beat to think about what it is that I just said, as opposed to waiting for your turn to speak.
Again, you're assuming that I have not incorporated what it is you said, that I've not thought about what it is that you're saying, even before you came in here. What I was going to say was, okay, all right, you are absolutely fucking correct. After 5 fucking years of repeated behavior, repeated fucking bullshit.
The word is abuse.
Fine. The word is abuse. But after 5 fucking years of it, the only conclusion that you can come to is that I wasn't interested in what it is that you were saying. There are more complete or more inclusive truths. I did very much care about what it is that you're saying. The goats distracted me because, try as I might, it's...
But right. So, but ultimately what you're doing is gaslighting me. This conversation doesn't have to be that dramatic. It doesn't have to be that long. You could very simply say...
You're right. I'm sorry. And
you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I see what I did. I will correct my behavior going forward, and here's how I'm going to do it, and speak in specifics. Instead, this has gone on for 5 minutes, and you're still talking in circles as opposed to claiming any responsibility.
Fine. So, fine.
Once again, you made me feel I am not seen, valued, or heard.
Okay. So...
I told you why, and I'm still being explained to and gaslit.
I'm not... Fuck, I guess I was. All right? The fact that this videoed, I can watch it back. So, here's what I got.
You want to wear a body cam? Here we are.
I do want to wear a body cam.
Great.
I do want to wear a body cam. Honestly, I do want to wear a body cam because half the time it feels like only half of what it is I said was heard or picked up on or whatever. Doesn't fucking matter. More to the point, okay? To today, to what it is that transpired. You're right. I'm sorry. I did not mean for you to feel that way on any fucking level. Going forward, I absolutely can simply keep the camera on you. You were trying to make a point, and if nothing else, best case scenario, I was fucking distracting you from that point. So,
from my ability to feel like I'm being heard.
And to articulate what it is you were trying to convey.
And so thereby making it about you and sabotaging me.
Yeah, my fucking artistic expression, whatever the fuck.
Because it's not about you.
Going forward, I can simply keep the camera on you. It is just that simple. I would ask, walking backwards up a hill, that you give me just 10 seconds head start. It's fucking hard to do. Certainly harder than walking forwards up.
Okay, Chris.
No,
would you like me to hire a symphony while I'm at it?
No. No.
You sure you don't want any violins?
No, Jess.
I can go find the guys that played on the Titanic.
Jess, literally, the assumption that I should just know these things it's not without merit, because by now I should.
Yes, because you are a grown-ass man.
Yes, by now I should. Okay? I've never worked as a fucking film crew. This was an easy...
All right, we're done here. I'm done. Nope. 20 seconds.
I can see how what it is that I was doing was again shirking responsibility or otherwise diminishing what it is that was transpiring. So, I am sorry. Truly.
Otherwise diminishing what was transpiring, you mean the fact that you don't see, value, or hear me?
That I was looking
dismissive
to excuse the behavior.
As opposed to taking
accepting
responsibility for it.
So, going forward, I can simply put my bullshit aside. It's really that simple.
Chris, you acknowledge that you are a covert narcissist, and we are having these conversations openly. Is that a fact? That I am not slandering you publicly in any way or forcing you to say any of this shit?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I acknowledge that I am in fact a covert narcissist, that I'm working through narcissistic traits and behaviors in order to ensure that I'm able to keep my family together and that I accept responsibility and I can change these patterns of behavior. And no, in no way, shape, or form are you forcing me to say these things.
You are not under duress. I am not secretly the toxic one that's abusing you or any of the other shit that your flying monkeys and all of your enablers want to say.
Okay. So, never have I ever in any way, shape, or form alleged that you are fucking twisting my arm into any of this. I want to work through these things. The patterns of behavior that have been intrinsically, like, just naturally and organic introduced and explained to me as fucking normal are not, in fact, healthy boundaries or limitations or any of these things. And the fact that I've seen the behavior exhibited as normal and perpetuated as normal has created these patterns of behavior within me. I want to address these patterns of behavior, and I want to ensure that our fucking marriage and our lives can be filled with love, laughter, joy, and happiness. To do that, I absolutely need to accept responsibility. I did not a moment ago. I did not 10 moments ago, 20 moments ago. You want me to keep going? Over and over and over again. That has caused you to feel the way that you feel. I'm not going to put words into your mouth as to how it is that you feel.
This has gone on longer than 20 seconds.
Yes, I understand. I said moments. But
this channel is not about you. We can talk about our marriage and we can talk about covert narcissism and boundaries because I think it's important to people. But we are not going to be doing Chris proselytizing. This channel isn't about you. There is no way that we can talk about homesteading and doing this whole thing here without acknowledging the fact that you are a covert narcissist. And that's a dynamic that we are working on. I am an empath working on boundaries.
Okay. Fair enough.
20 seconds is up.
Yeah, well, and then some. But we went deeper and I feel it was productive.
Okay, great. Thanks. I think I'm going to have to figure out how to get a, I don't know, one of those stabilizing thingies for a camera and lighting or whatever. But look, that's what it is. That's what it is. Every day in and day out, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I want to make it very clear that I do not consider myself a victim. I am 100% a survivor, baby. Don't ever get that twisted. I am 100% a survivor. And why don't I just leave? Well, a few reasons, actually. There's the crippling fear of divorcing a narcissist. I have no one except my son, and he has a whole family of enablers. Delusion or not, I still love him very, very much, and I see the potential, right? And I don't know if I'm hanging on to that glimpse of potential and just creating a world of delusion for myself. I don't know. Only time will tell. But I know that I am not in a position to go anywhere, and I know that this is my farm and this is my home, and I have a right to demand that I live in peace and harmony with my child. And this is our land and this is our home, and I'm not going any damn where. So what that means is I need to brush up on some boundaries and hold to them. Not get sucked into the word salads and the gaslighting and the explanations and the dismissing and the defensiveness and all the many joys that come with the narcissist roller coaster, the narcissist funhouse. I understand completely that that word is thrown around all the time. But the fact is, every single one of us is a narcissist on some level. It is a function of where on the spectrum we allow ourselves to reside. And for far too long, in my own experiences as a kid, I became the people pleaser and the one to be the glue that tries to hold it all together. He learned as the golden child that, you know, he was practically tantamount to the second coming of Christ. I mean, his name is Christopher, so root word is, you know, you do the math. But, yeah. So he married an independent, you know, woman who lives and breathes smashing the patriarch and fighting toxic masculinity. And yeah, I had no idea I was marrying a covert narcissist, and so here we are. It is April 26th, Wednesday, and we are going to have our 5-year wedding anniversary on Saturday the 28th. And I couldn't care less. And I could not care less. I am doing my thing, and hopefully my thing includes getting these damn braces off. Yeah, it used to affect me so much. It affected me so much. I have been in AA. That the problem was me. Because you can't go into an AA meeting and say, I'm really scared. I'm not sure I'm an alcoholic, but, because, you walk into an AA meeting, you're going to be labeled an alcoholic, re-traumatized, and ignored and gaslit, while you have someone sitting next to you that is being applauded for being such a wonderful and supportive spouse. You can try to commit suicide, which I did. Wasn't very good at it, thank God. Yeah, you can live in the absolute depths of despair and have no one understand your anxiety, your depression, and you live in a world completely isolated from reality. And it takes a super strong sense of self, a super strong sense of survival to fight through all that when the only person you have is your child. Everybody else gaslights you and tells you that's not real, that's not happening. You just drink too much. You're the problem. Clean up your side of the street, as opposed to, well, I've done a swan dive into the gutter because I'm crushed under the fact that I am now this ghost of my own life. And that is a direct result of not listening to women. And we don't listen to women as a culture. So, hey, girl, hey, like I said, I see you. I see you. So... And, I think it's important to add, too. I mean, as hard as it is being this is like full empath. I can just hear the hallowed halls of narcissist experts like shivering or down their spine or whatever. The ick factor. I get it, especially coming from an empath. But really, being a narcissist, I would imagine, is very hard, very lonely, very sad. Whether or not they know it. And so to my husband's credit, he has his own traumas. And, there were two roads to take. And I took the empath, he took the narcissist. And now it's two super imperfect people trying to get this marriage off of life support and into this life that we desperately want to create for ourselves that is not future faking, but is steeped in mutual respect. And to his credit, I mean, for him to openly admit and talk, is a narcissist just learning how to be the best narcissist, a better narcissist, is all things to keep your eyes on, my eyes on. But I know that to, the best of his ability, he does love my son and I. And, just because it has spicy mayonnaise doesn't mean it's not still a shit sandwich. But he is kind at times. And he is, generous. And he does try to show up. He's out there right now in his lunch hour working on my chicken coop. So he's trying to make amends. My work obviously now is letting go of the anger. And I'm a forgiving person by nature, but there's not going to be any forgetting. And I don't know that it will ever be what it could be. I don't know. I'm reading Jeff Brown, I'm just reaching out from my own self and allowing myself to be feeling what she feels and focusing on myself, because far too long my life has been about everyone but me. And I feel good about this. I really, really do. It's really inspiring. I mean, no is a complete sentence. It is absolutely 100% a complete sentence. And furthermore, I am learning to say, no, ma'am, without having to explain myself as to why. And, is it okay with you? No, hell, no. No, the answer's no. Period. So that's what we're up to, along with the homesteading, along with working full time, and along with, trying to fit in a new town and do all this other stuff and have 1,000,001 animals. So as bittersweet as it feels sometimes, it's actually really amazing. It really is. Like, what a blessing it is to even be able to openly talk about these things, or have access to internet that I can talk about these things, and then, have a roof over my head and clean drinking water, and, it's not something, any of it I take for granted. It's just super important to me in the interest of, this channel being, it's important to me. So at any rate, I don't know if you can see out my window, that fat ass squirrel eating my bird food. And then he's going to go inside and live in my ceiling, in my roof, in my bedroom, and scurry around at night so I can't sleep. And what a great problem to have. Yeah, so we're not going anywhere. This is our home. We are not going anywhere. So, that being said, my job and my role is to accept that while I haven't chosen to marry a covert narcissist, by choosing to stay, the onus is on me to do some more of my work and continue to do my best to model appropriate behavior to my son, which I have failed miserably at times, like just crashed like a dumpster fire of appropriate parenting. But I am human, and there's only so much you can take. And I did not fight through 4.5 years of living in a foreign country where I didn't speak the language and busting my balls, building that business, miscarriage after miscarriage, trauma, turmoil, things I won't even get into, like, to just come this far. This is my home. This is my son's land. And I did not come this far just to come this far. So what that means is I need to Brene Brown, Dr. Romani to a point, Les Carter, Dr. Les Carter, the people that are going to make a difference in my life. You Can Do Hard Things by Glennon Doyle. Shit. Right now I'm taking this Mel Robbins. Love her. We could sing Kiki all day. Take Control, a 3-part training. I can put that in there too. I've just started this, so I'm assuming it's going to be helpful. But I am not going to therapy anymore. Absolutely not. I had a pretty decent therapist the last time around, but it ended up being, not covered by insurance, and it got really, really expensive, and I couldn't afford it anymore. And I wasn't seeing like the results. But I know what I need. Nobody knows me better than myself, and I know who I am, and I know what I need, and I just need to act on those things. Stop giving in to the reactive abuse portion of it. Gray rock when I need to. Shit, go no contact when I need to. I've lived off and on 5 years of magical little grunts from a face hole at best to acknowledge that I've spoken. So what's good for the gander, right? So I can do these things. I can do hard things. And the last therapist that I went to told me that he may kill you. But being a narcissist is not illegal. So with that inspiring news, I grabbed my shit and walked out. And I will not be going to therapists anymore, ever. Not to say that there aren't good ones out there, but for myself, I have not found them. And I know that my husband has been, and I do know that he's been doing this, looking up people who specialize in narcissism, looking up people who specialize in covert narcissism and childhood trauma and all of this stuff to start trying to unravel some of these things in his own mind so that he can actually show up as more of a whole human being and not operating from his 7-year-old lizard brain. But no one's calling him back. People aren't emailing him back. Now, I don't know exactly the kinds of messages he's leaving. And yes, I am well aware he is a master manipulator. So we take truth with a grain of salt around here. But I do know that he is attempting and trying to track people down to get some mental health support. And it is just not happening. It is just not happening. People are just not getting back. People are too overpopulated, have too many clients, have terrible business practices. I don't know what. But as messy as it is, he tries, I try. And if at the end of the day, the best we can do is make it slightly less toxic and try to have moments of joy. Does it matter if it's not super authentic? I don't want to use like that authentically. Does it matter that it's possibly an illusion? If it means my son gets to have a day of peace, if it means that there's a day where, there isn't a war in the house and I'm not telling my husband exactly where he can shove it. And there doesn't have to be tumult and turmoil. Those are good days. And those are the good days. And what we are both trying to do together is string along more and more good days. And kind of hope for the best. But he has not hit me or my son in a very long time. That's not to say he hasn't choked me within an inch of my life or cracked my pelvis or any of the number of other things that he's done. But yeah, we're just 100% a day at a time and trying to focus for me on the inspiring. I do not want this channel to be all about narcissism and narcissistic abuse and recovery, but it's a huge portion of this story. It's a huge portion of this homestead. It's a huge portion of what's led us here. And if there is a snowball's chance in hell that it can help someone, maybe you have a covert narcissist in your life. Maybe you need to work on your boundaries, whatever it is, in kindness, love, and friendship, fellowship, I come to thee. So with that, I will get to work. Have a great day.